Richard Johnson, only one place to start. Tim Mercer, you'd probably fancy if he was on the field all day today. Middlesex are walking away with a victory. How is he?
He's sore. Pulled a little hamstring, so we're not sure yet to what extent. He'll obviously, I think they say 48 hours and then scan and stuff, so we'll know a little bit more in a couple of days' time. But obviously losing 900 first-class wickets today didn't help, but obviously what an amazing effort by the other guys out there. They certainly pulled up the slack and performed admirably through the whole day.
So much to pull apart. Just touch on the pitch first of all. If there's overheads in that match assisting the bowlers more, then probably that's the perfect April wicket, wasn't it? And because it's been a talking point for so long, the Lord's wicket now, and the number of runs that have or haven't been scored on it.
Yeah, I've talked about the wicket for a while now. We prepare for a tough wicket, and I think it showed that the way we played, we took our time, we defended our wicket well, we latched onto anything loose. So we prepared for a tough wicket, and actually the wicket was a bit easier than probably what we expected. There was still a little bit in there on the first day, so I thought we played brilliantly on that first day. Look, if the overheads at Lords, you can't control any of that. I think the lights only came on a couple of short periods through the game, but it was still a wicket we felt we could have pushed for a win on that last day, but just fell just a little bit short.
Toby Helm first up. Tom Helm even. He'd have been a good bowler, Toby Helm. Tom Helm, if he got those 3 wickets, again, if Mercer's on the field, he blew it open. That's pretty much you expect the way to play out on a final day like that. It will have ebbs and flows. Once you got those 3 wickets, it was just too much, though, for the depleted attack, really.
Yeah, the boys were tired, obviously, at the end of a game. You're not expecting to bowl the amount of overs they've bowled in the first game of the season. But just touching on Tom Helm, what an amazing performance all game. Looked a real international class bowler there, and that's the Tom Helm I've known. This is the Tom Helm I knew a long time ago that came through, and hopefully now we'll see him really push on from this, because honestly what I saw today, that was international class bowling. It's
injuries that have held him up a lot. What does he need to do himself now, though, as well as the injury front, to keep at that level and make sure he's knocking on the door?
Just do what he did today. I mean, it sounds simple, but I think his last ball of his, I don't know exactly the amount of overs, but 40 odd overs was as quick as his first ball. He hit great areas, can swing it. It was quality all the way through. If he does that week in, week out, then England have to come calling for him, because he's up there with the best when he's like that.
Whole match was quality, wasn't it? It was a good example of first-class cricket in England. 2 teams that obviously had very difficult years last year, but the performance on the field, you wouldn't have guessed it in this one.
Yeah, I agree. Derby came out and they batted similar to us. They took their time. They made it really hard for us to get wickets, and it was a really hard-fought game. One that we feel over 4 days we've certainly had the better of. We feel we've set the standards there for us as a team. We've worked hard with our identity and how we want to be seen and how we want to play our cricket over the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks. And I think anybody that came to this game or seen the live streams would see how we've tried to play, and it's quite obvious how we're trying to play. And if we keep doing that week in, week out, results take care of themselves. We put the performances like we did this game, results will take care of themselves.
And final word for the batters as well. Robbie White's big aggregate score in the match. Davis did himself the world of good as well in that first innings. Max Hold'em, both innings. And Josh De Cares in the first innings with that 80. You've got a real selection headache coming up in a little while. Sam Robson, will he be back for Cardiff perhaps? Pete Hanscom will be here. And as you say, the 2 bowlers to come back in, Mercer and Shane Afridi arriving as well.
Which 11 are you going to pick then? What are you going with, Kev?
I thought you told me to keep that secret.
It's as you want to be. You hear football managers always talk about difficult decisions, but that's where you want to be. You want everyone competing. We spoke to the whole squad early season about competing and knocking on the door and making sure that they're doing enough to be in that first team. And at the moment, we've probably got about 14, 15 players who are doing enough to be in that first team. So people are going to be unhappy in the next game. But if we as a club want to be challenging for trophies and winning games, then that's what you need. You need people desperate to get in and people that are in desperate to stay in. And that's what's going to happen next week. We get a couple of overseas players back. Robbo hopefully will be fit, Martin Anderson will be fit, and they'll all be knocking on the door.
Everything you wanted to see from the first match. I know it's game 4 for you in terms of the pre-season, but everything that you wanted to see in terms of this is what Middlesex can do this year.
Game 4, you're better than Fletch on that one, he forgets that. Yes, absolutely, can't ask for much more than this game. As I said, I don't always look at the result, I look at the performance, and the performance for me was absolutely A1.
Thanks for your time.
No problem.